Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 16th of June 2020. Today I am going to discuss a little bit of theory because this is really important, and we had a couple of new guys enter the community, and so I want to go over something that is very fundamental for trading supply and demand, buy and sell zones. And so here, for this illustration, I have the minute chart, and on this side I have the monthly chart. And if you look at these two charts, what do they have in common? So if you look at these, I'm just going to remove this so we have a little bit more price. If you look at this, what do they have in common? So very clearly. Well, they look quite similar, don't they? If I told you that this was a 1 minute chart and this was the 4-hour chart, there's nothing in the two charts that you would have a difficulty accepting. Or if I told you that this was the monthly chart and this was the 1 minute chart, you couldn't really see the difference, and that's because the price of an asset is fractal no matter the time frame. So we have enormous flows visible on this time frame, which is the monthly, and we have the very small, sometimes insignificant flows on the 1 minute chart. But notice here, this is the key takeaway I think for today, and that is that we have the origin of a move, price returns to the move. We have an origin of a move, price returns to the move. We have an origin of a move, price returns to it. We have an origin, price returns to it. Okay, and so what I'm trying to say here is that on the monthly time frame, price will always return to the origin of this very strong move, one that is responsible for consuming liquidity at the opposing side of the market. This is happening on the monthly chart, and this is also happening on the weekly chart and the daily and the 4-hour and the 2-hour and every single other chart that you may consider to look at. And so it's crucial that you know what is going on the bigger time frames, because if you're not, then you're pretty much trading in the dark because you do not know where the flows are moving. And if we look at this now, you can see this is the euro American dollar price. We had an origin, price returned to the origin. What does that mean? Well, that means what happened last time price returned to an origin. Last time price returned to this origin, it went on for thousands of pips. Last time came to this origin, it went on for thousands of pips. Last time came to this origin, it traveled for thousands of pips. Last time price came to this origin, it traveled for, well, that becomes a new question. We don't know how, but historically price goes on for really long runs once it reaches an area of supply or demand that has formed on a bigger time frame. And so now, while this is not going to go up in a straight line for thousands of pips, it is going to do something that looks like this. Okay, it's going to do that, and it's going to go on for what? For probably thousands of pips. But when you're trading at price returning to an origin on a big time frame, there is an enormous likelihood, and we're talking 80% likelihood, that price is going to move for thousands of pips. Okay, and I say thousands of pips because we're talking about the monthly chart. This is super important. And so when price is moving to these enormous levels on the monthly chart, you really want to know this, because this is when you can trade the smaller time frames. I'm not saying the 1 minute, I would never trade the 1 minute, but you could trade the smaller time frames, smaller relative to the monthly chart, with much more confidence that the position is going to continue moving in your favor. And so the euro just poked into this very low point at an area of demand. So we have a buy zone, and this is an area of demand because why? Well, we had, you can't see it on this time frame, but we had price testing, and now it's gone. See, now it's been removed. The area that did it is this one down here. Okay, and so you know with pretty high degree of probability that price is probably going to continue moving higher for a while. Okay, and so you need to know where these are happening on the smaller time frames. Okay, let's just take something else. Let's look at the pound American dollar and see if we can see something similar. Let me get these levels to update. Okay, so you see here that the same thing is happening once again, where we have an origin, price return to the origin. We have a sell zone, price return to the sell zone. Okay, we have an origin, price returned to the origin. We went a little bit deeper and now we're gone. We have an origin, price returned to it. We have a sell zone, price returned to it. It's the exact same thing. We have an origin, price returned to the origin. Okay, so this is the exact same thing again happening. This is the 1 minute chart and this is the monthly chart. Would you rather take trades that are giving you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pips? Maybe 10 trades a day, 20 trades a day? Or would you rather take a few trades a month that are going to give you thousands and thousands of pips? Imagine the difference in stress if you're trading off a chart that looks like this in contrast to a chart that looks like this. It's going to totally change your perspective, of course, because you're going to have to be patient. So this is going to be a psychological challenge for yourself, but the rewards are going to be much, much greater. Also note, imagine when price came down just in here. Okay, so on the monthly chart you should be buying, but on the minute chart, let's say price came up here. Okay, and so you were looking to sell. You thought, okay, cool, I'm going to sell, and so you sell and you get into this trade. But what are the major flows doing? The major flows are absolutely positively moving north because we have a huge influx of buying pressure at this area of demand on the monthly chart, which again does what? It goes to the origin. Sorry, this is the origin here. Okay, so we left this origin, we came all the way down here to an opposing area, and so this is just really important to know. You really should be paying attention to the big time frames. And of course, trading is considered by a lot of people to be a form of entertainment. But if your trading is entertainment, then perhaps you should take up squash or tennis or skateboarding or freediving or motocross or something else that gives you some kind of entertainment. Trading should not be entertaining. Okay, trading is work. Okay, it should be enjoyable, but it should not be entertaining. Okay, so this is just a really important notion that I really want everyone to understand. Of course, you can take what I say and you can flush it down the toilet. I'm not fussed, but I really want you to consider what I'm saying because it's a very important point. I'm going to go to this chart now, and this is my macro to micro view. And if I go here on the Australian dollar, American dollar, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, I can see 4 different time frames on the same window. I have the software enabled in all of them, and it's showing me what's going on in all of these simultaneously. And so here, I mean, what do we have? Let's have a gander here. Okay, so we had a buy zone here, which is kind of this area just here. Price tore through it. It poked into the origin of this move. Okay, and we find then the release point. So where do we have historical, what appears to be resistance? We have something like that, and you're finding this by looking for the wicks that are testing and then later removed. So we have this, we tested it, price was pulled back, and then we went up. So the beginning of the buy zone is moved, from the low of this to the low of the area. So this is now where we have a very high likelihood that price is going to bounce. Okay, we also have on a micro level, we have one that's closer to price. We have this one here. Tested, price leaves. We have 2 candles just here. Okay, this is telling us that we are distributing liquidity to move price higher. The low of that is right here. So we could actually move this box to something like this. This is closer to price, this is more relevant. And we'll remove this one and that. Let me redraw that. So let's go like that and just remove all these. So this is where we can expect price to have a bounce in the future. Yeah, price went a little bit deeper. Nonetheless, we did come to a buy zone, which is a low of this candle, and then we managed to wriggle higher from there. What do you see when you look at this? Where is the sell zone for this? First of all, we have to find these areas that are interesting to us. You can see we had a test and a test. So we have something here. This was tested numerous times, once, twice, 3 times, and now it's gone. You can see it's gone. Okay, so the area, the pullback that caused price to move through this area of demand is somewhere in here. We can't really see where it is, but if you look at this, I mean, price had an attempt, but we failed. Okay, these candles are the ones that managed to trade below it. And so looking at this, we have a sell zone from around here. Okay, this is where we have the beginning of a sell zone. I can't even see what that is. It's a little bit too low, but around the 7150 area, so just above that. Okay, and then you say, well, where do we have supply above that? Well, we had this area here, which is tested, and now it's gone. The area that did it is here. Okay, here we have a parent, we have the child, price tested the child, then it left. So we have something here, just in here. We'll just go like this. Okay, so here we have supply. When we have this area of supply, what do we want to look at to find a valid sell zones? Well, we have this one here, which is a small one, and above that we have a retracement. Okay, so this price was established, we formed this area of supply, the slingshot was pulled back, and after it pulled back, then it moved through this demand, telling us that you want to be selling for a price no cheaper than, I just got to go like this, otherwise I can't see it, the 73.77 area on the monthly chart. So price is probably going to continue to gradually wriggle higher from here. Knowing that, what can we expect, what can we assume about the flows of the Australian dollar, American dollar? Well, they're probably gonna continue to wriggle higher until we reach these sell zones. Okay, and on this chart, I mean, the sell zone is a little bit higher still, so we can continue to buy until we start to move around to these sell zones. And even when we get to these sell zone, I mean, price doesn't go into them and then stop and then turn around instantly and move 1,000 pips to your stop. You have plenty of time to wait, to consider what you're going to do, to watch price and wait before you make any decisions. On the monthly chart, when price enters an area of demand, I mean, we had this one here. Imagine if you wanted to buy this one here. Okay, you wanted to buy that, and price poked into it, and then it went up. You thought, oh no, I missed the trade. Did it come back? Yes, it did. It came back again. And while this looks like two very quick pokes into this area here, these two apparently exceedingly quick tests of this area of demand, I mean, price was down there for weeks combined. Okay, price didn't just poke down and then leave. No, we didn't see 1 minute pokes and then departures. Price poked down and we started to do what? We started to distribute liquidity. Okay, we started to distribute liquidity to move price higher, and price sat on these areas for ages and ages and ages and ages. I mean, we're talking days, potentially even weeks. So there's plenty of time to plan the trade. You wait for price to stop. Maybe you missed the first entrance. Then you go and look at something else. You spend time with your kids, do whatever, do a bit of work. Then you just wait, because price will almost always come back to it. It's very rare that it does something like this. And even if it does, it came down once. Yes, it did. But on the smaller time frames, it's stuck around that area for a very long time. Let's have a look at that. Let's find the low. I can spot that here. So this is the low. This is when price came down there. Look, this is the 1 hour chart. Price kind of formed this area. We poked into it. We left. Okay. When price was here, this area of supply was tested here. We know this is supply because price respected it. Okay, so we had an area here. Price tested it, and then it was removed. Where was a slingshot pulled back to in order to remove this supply? Well, if you look at this, here's the price movement that went through it. You just move lower. Here we have a bunch of mess. You want to move below the mess. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in. Here's the mess. When I say mess, I just mean like candles moving sideways. Where's the deepest retracement? Okay, I'm going to move a line and say stop. When the mess stops, stop. Here's the mess. We're at the bottom of the mess. This is where price came to, and then we left. Okay, here we have a little bit more. We have something just below that where we had an area of sideways price movement, which is a candle to the left. This one, the low of it is here. This is where we tested. So you had 1 chance, 2 chances, 3 chances to plan your trade. And even if you missed that, you had other areas that you could consider to trade at. We had price testing here. Test, test, test. Price went through. Okay, the area that did it, the origin of the move that did it is here. So we have a low and we have this. This is a tiny one. Did price get back there? No, it didn't. Okay, so you find that you have this one here, so you have a limit order here, or you move your limit order higher and you find more significant ones on the bigger time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour and you use those instead. Okay, so here. Okay, so we had this one here. We had this. We know this. We had a decent test just here. We had a test. Price went through it, but the origin of the move where price was able to sustain higher prices is here. This is actually where we just looked, and price didn't quite get there. We got close, but we left. Did price get there? No, price has not been back there. Okay, but then you have other ones here. You have another one here. Where did price struggle to move beyond? We also had this one here. It's going to go like that. Just mark off this whole area. Okay, price. This was the area it was tested twice. This one here, we managed to move through it. Okay, yeah, maybe you'd have missed this one as well, because price did not come down to this area here. No big deal, you find something else to trade. Or you wait for price to return to that level at a later date. Okay, let me remove all of these. Okay, but you can see that this stuff does not happen super quickly. It takes a really long time to materialize. This is the monthly chart. Let me remove everything. Okay, so this is what we have. So when you see something like this where price is, sorry, wrong thing, boom, boom. So price is low. You could see it's low. We just looked, we're reacting at an area of demand at a very nice buy zone, and price is leaving and it's moving higher. We identified a couple sell zones here, but the ultimate sell zone is not until here. We can see price had to go, we failed. We had to go, fail. We had to go, we failed. And price managed to move below these lows, taking out all this micro demand and this one here. The origin of that move was down here. Notice up here that we have another one. This is the supply is responsible for removing this right here. So this one's gone. We had to go, price went up. We moved, we sat on the area, we distributed it, and then we cut through it like a hot knife through butter. So this one's gone. The origin of the move that did it is here. And within this one here, there's going to be a sell zone that we can identify and trade once price once price returns to that area. This is one pair. Maybe we'll have to wait 7 months or 12 months for our position to get filled. But luckily, I mean, look how many positions we have. Symbols and instruments we have. We have potentially hundreds that we could trade. So you find the ones that you want to do and you focus on those. You put your limit order in at sell zones and buy zones based on the big time frames, and you walk away and you do your own thing. It is completely carefree trading, and I encourage you to consider it instead of focusing on these very small time frames. Of course, you shouldn't do it because I say so. You should do so because it's something that resonates with you. And if it doesn't, well, then maybe you could change this to the daily, this to the 4-hour, this to the 1-hour, and this to the 15-minute chart. And then you can do the exact same thing over, and then you're trading with the flows on the daily, which is also significant. Okay, so you change your strategy, you change your time frames, and you make them dependent on how you are as a person. If you like things to happen more quickly, then you go to the small time frames. If you want to take a more macro stance, then you do something like I'm doing. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop ranting and I'm going to have a look at some pairs. We still have a bit of time, so let's start here. Let's start at the Euro Swiss franc. The Euro Swiss franc, what is going on? Well, we're very low. Okay, we have entered a buy zone, so we have demand. The buy zone was the deepest retracement, which is here. Came close, we went a little bit deeper, and now we're kind of moving sideways. There's not a whole lot of strength to this departure here. Yet we also have to contend with this. And so buying now would not be really a good idea because, I mean, when price left here, we went below and deep into this buy zone, which tells us that we probably have significant strength from this area here. So So you might want to be a little bit careful buying for the time being. But it doesn't mean you can't, it just means you have to look on the smaller time frames and you have to refine your entries. And here we can see the same thing happening. We had that low, we had the low, we had a deeper push into this area here. We're actually long at this area here based on the currency strength histogram. Price moved north from here, and now we are approaching some areas that look interesting. Okay, so what do you do in a situation like this? Well, we had obviously a very strong push higher. We had a lot of sell zones. Now price rallied, we moved lower, we formed these wicks. That means price is dipping into buy zones, which we can't see on this time frame, and now we're looking to move. We don't know, we're currently moving higher from now. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means that we have maybe some shorter term long positions because we did poke into this buy zone. Go to the daily chart and we try and find these buy zones. We try and find areas of demand that are strong enough to do damage to the structure of the market. If you see here, we have a test, we have a test, we have a test of the chart, we have a test. So we're establishing, if I just kind of do an average-ish, we have something here. Okay, test. This is the origin of the move that moved through it. Here we have a continuation pattern. Price went down, we went through the continuation pattern, we started testing this resistance becomes support. But this is not where the demand is. Demand is lower. We have this area here, okay, which if you look at this, here's mess, here's the low of the mess, the lowest wick since this really strong push in price. Price went just beyond that and then we left. So again, here we're looking for pancakes and we have to go deeper in the plate of pancakes. So this would be maybe the plate of pancakes, and we have this. Okay, the pancakes are gone, testing, 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 gone. This one's gone, so we're looking lower, and so we have something down here. So now we take this idea with us to the smaller time frames on the, let's say, the 4 hour, and you look here, and when you look at this, what do you see? Well, I see mess. What does that mean? That means don't buy for a price any more expensive than the bottom of this mess. Okay, and so now we're actually forced to go to the small time frames here because we can't see any clarity. So have a look on the hourly. Let's see if there's anything on the hourly. Yeah, we got something there. This is what price is testing. This is an hour or a half hour area of demand. Let's have a look. We still can't see it. But what we can see, we can see here. We had price accumulating orders to move price higher. So distribution of liquidity from the sell side and an accumulation on the buy side. Price moves up here, and look at this. We have a rally, a small slingshot, and a departure. So here is where we are interested in buying. Okay, so we go back to the 4 hour chart. We look at this and you notice, well, actually we're pretty far down, as you can see here. Okay, but this is where this is happening. Okay, we can only do what the market is telling us, what price is telling us. We can say, yeah, you know, price will go up to here, we've got a nice departure, we'll probably go down. Yeah, we might, but we might not. But if you focus on the major flows, I mean, we had a lot of trading this area. There are no pancakes here, there are no pancakes here. What does that mean? That means price is probably going to move lower. This is nice, this is strong, this is strong. So we have more strength in price moving lower than we do in price moving higher. Okay, so that tells me, this is completely objective, there's no subjectivity involved here, that price is probably going to want to rebalance and move to the origin of the move that this whole price structure is standing on, which brings us pretty close to the lows of this accumulation candle here. If we mark off, if we close above this high here, that'll give us a buy zone at the 1062. We'll say 1062. Let's see where that is. 1062. 1062, around here, roughly the low of this here. Okay, so this is that buy zone on the monthly chart. But if you look and you focus on the detail here, accumulation, 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 these are all linked together. This one is not linked to these. Why? Because the close is above the high of the accumulation here. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we're going to have to look lower because the buy zone is actually really far down. So the buy zone is lower. then I can't see on that time frame, but what we can see is it's at the lows here. But at the lows, we have extreme distribution from the sell side, accumulation on the buy side, and we probably have some currency strength histogram occurring as well. You can see how we're having a push, a deeper push, a deeper push. This is the market trying to push people out of the positions to release liquidity into the market, okay, which is bought up by the big guys in order to drive price higher, and actually in order to fill their positions, and their filling of positions is what is causing price to move higher. Okay, but you can see massive skinny leg, really sharp push. The origin of that is down here. So what do? Well, you buy at the 10525 area and lower. Okay, and so for a stop, you want to go like this, mark off the low, then you want to look left. Maybe we can't see on this time frame. You can see already here the software's found something for us. Yes, we have found something right here. Okay, this is the demand. Okay, this is where the origin move. We had distribution on the sell side, accumulation on the buy side, price left. We tested, we left. Price came down to this area here, which is at the edge of this area of demand. Okay, and again, this is as expected. We have wicks, testing attempts. We're really trying to push price higher. We're really trying, but we're failing. Okay, where do we succeed? We succeed from this point right here and not before. This is all this. Oops. Oh, this is because I'm zoomed in. Okay, and so at this point here, we failed. Okay, so from the low, this is exactly where price had to go, and we are consuming supply up here, and so this is telling us that we have strength, but we don't have quite a lot of strength. So price is probably going to have a deeper push lower in order to attract, in order to advertise cheaper prices to onboard people who are looking to buy and move price higher. Right, my wife is going to yoga. I have 2 kids here, so I'm going to have to check out for now, but I'll dip back into this maybe later today or certainly tomorrow, and we will continue through the list here, and we'll do the exact same thing over and over and over again, and try and do this stuff on yourself. I recommend recording and watching your recordings, because certainly when you do things one time, you're learning something, but when you're watching yourself do what you have done historically, there's time for reflection. And so this is often a very beautiful space to be in order to learn. Okay, well, I'll stop for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in